Hey, what's up guys? It's Marf and welcome back to another Asphalt 9 video. Today we are going to discuss the 7th Drive Syndicate, which ended a couple of days ago. Now, unfortunately, this time around, I missed a vast majority of the event. For the first 10 days, I wasn't really able to play a lot, so that left me scrambling to catch up with everyone else during the last few days of the event. What that meant, however, is I got a new perspective on the amount of grind that this event requires, because for the most part, during the Drive Syndicates, I have free time, which means I'm able to grind a lot during normal Drive Syndicates. But this time around, I really felt the crunch during the last couple of days, like I mentioned. So the amount of grind really did get to me this time around, and I understand everyone's frustration. Not that I never complained about it before, but I didn't feel like it was that big of a deal just because I managed to have some of that free time. But now that I was absent during the first 10 days, I really now understand just how much of a grind it is to catch up with everyone else. And so this meant that in the last day of the event, I still had tons of money runs available to me, and I bought all of the relays without really needing them. I probably could have gotten away with my progress without buying the relays because I managed to get to the Noble M600, and so I got 40 blueprints for it, but I didn't unlock it, so I wasn't able to progress in that section of the Drive Syndicate. And what that meant was the last pack in the relay section for, I believe it was 100,000 Syndicate coins, was wasted purely on Noble M600 blueprints, which I'm not going to unlock, and upgrades for the CC850, which of course I was never going to get in the first place. So realistically speaking, I could have spent about 1,250 tokens less and gotten away with the same amount of cars. But of course, just for transparency and letting you guys know what I got, for all of the relay packs, I managed to get out of this syndicate with a 2-star 370Z Neon Edition, a 3-star Jaguar Project 8, and a 3-star McLaren 600 LT. Now again, because of my mismanagement with tokens and the coins, I probably could have bumped that up to maybe a 4 or 5-star McLaren 600 LT, which would have been really cool, instead of just 40 Noble M600 blueprints. But going back to the overall scope of the event for a second here, of course we are on our 7th Drive Syndicate, which means we know how these things work already. And so you might think there isn't a lot to talk about in this video, but there are a couple of things that I noticed. Firstly, the previous car in this Drive Syndicate was the McLaren 600 LT. For the past couple of Drive Syndicates, at least one of the cars is not a new car. For the previous Drive Syndicates, they were previously Legend Pass exclusive cars that if you were lucky enough to buy it during the Legend Pass event, it meant that you had a very sizable advantage during the Drive Syndicate. However, this time around, the previous car was the McLaren 600 LT, and I believe that was released during a normal Unleashed event when Paris was announced, which meant that if you unlocked the McLaren 600 LT just by chance, because maybe you wanted it or you had extra tokens laying around, it meant that you had a very big advantage during this event. So I hope that going forward, GameLoft chooses cars that were freely available to players previously before the Drive Syndicate starts, instead of the normal way they do it, which is a previous Legend Pass exclusive car. So I like that improvement to this event. Again, I hope that they expand it into future events. Maybe they will have more cars in the next event that aren't specifically new. That would be cool to see as well. Beyond that, they also introduced some offers, of course, to incentivize people to spend the season tokens, which is their new currency. Now, there's no guarantee that this will appear during the next Drive Syndicate, but if they keep doing this, it means that you can spend your season tokens on some blueprints during the Drive Syndicate event. And so it didn't make it really easy, of course, like you only got a couple of blueprints for your couple thousand of season tokens, but it did mean that the event was slightly easier, and now GameLoft has set the precedent that there might be offers for season tokens during the next Drive Syndicate. And honestly, anything that a free-to-play user can do to progress in the Drive Syndicate without having to pay money is definitely a positive. So I'm definitely going to want to note that because I think it is an improvement to the event. I hope that they give us more offers for season tokens next time around, because I definitely think that the Drive Syndicate is a seasonal type of thing, so it would just make sense if they had more season token offers for Drive Syndicate rewards. Beyond that though, at least to my knowledge, the event seemed pretty similar to the other Drive Syndicates that we've experienced so far. So again, For tokens, if you're a free-to-play user, the furthest you can go is just buying the relay packs, which is what I did, and so you can expect to get 3 or 4 cars for your 6,000 to 7,000 tokens, which again, I think is pretty good, but the sacrifice is that of course you have to grind out all of those races. Now, unfortunately, this time around, none of the free cars are necessarily kings. They are neat cars, don't get me wrong, but they aren't going to be super useful after the Drive Syndicate ends. I'd say the only real exception to that is the McLaren 600 LT, which is a pretty decent B-class car, but you would have needed to be very efficient with your Syndicate coin spending. Otherwise, a 3-star McLaren 600 LT like I have isn't very useful if you have other B-class cars like the Huracan, the Apollo N, etc. I could go on. It's just a mediocre car for now. Now, one thing that I'm worried about is, as far as I'm aware, it has been 2 Drive Syndicates since we have seen the takedown mode. Now, again, I didn't get very far into the Drive Syndicate, so I don't know if that game mode came back in this Drive Syndicate, but later on during the event. But it's such a disappointment to see that it wasn't included right off the bat, especially for free players like myself. I didn't get to experience that game mode, and besides the one daily event they had a couple of months ago and that one Drive Syndicate where they introduced this game mode, I don't think I have played the takedown mode outside of those specific circumstances, which is really disappointing because I think it's a fun mode. I think they could do a lot with it. Hopefully their silence on the mode means they're revamping it or making it better. Maybe they're implementing it to multiplayer. That would be really cool. But I feel like the Drive Syndicate is now missing something if we don't have the takedown mode right out of the gate, or at least early on in the event. So I really hope that next time around in Drive Syndicate 8, they make the takedown mode a major feature, because I think it makes the Drive Syndicate very different compared to, the rest of the game. And I think it's a real disappointment that they aren't pushing that mode more exclusively, or at least in general, in the Drive Syndicate event. So those are my overall thoughts on the Drive Syndicate 7. We know what to expect nowadays, and I'm glad that they've made those really tiny improvements. Hopefully they continue to make it a slightly easier event over time, again with the season token offers and making one of the cars a previous car that everyone could have unlocked. That would be nice if they expanded it. Maybe they will let you play with 2 cars instead of 1 car per class. That would be neat as well. But let me know your thoughts on the Drive Syndicate 7 in the comment section down below. How far did you get? What did you think of the slight improvements? And what do you want to see for Drive Syndicate 8? Again, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below, and I will catch you guys later.